Hey, happy New Year 2026. My name's Todd Urey, founder of the Pharmacy Podcast Network, and this is our first TWIRx for the year. We are TWIRxing into 2026. I'm excited to be here with you. Today is January 2nd, 2026. Can you believe it? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you and your family and your friends. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a holiday season. We're excited about what's happening this coming year. We have so much planned, so many activities planned to expand the voice of pharmacists and pharmacy. Thank you so much for being part of a great 2025. I'm glad to leave it behind. There were a lot of struggles for our profession. There were a lot of struggles for so many businesses, small independent community pharmacies that went out of business in 2025 because of the pressures of how PBM reform is not where it needs to be just yet. But I'm excited. I'm very hopeful for a more prosperous 2026. That's really our key, is to be much more prosperous and be able to take resources and take the projects that we're working on and combine them with the efforts of our pharmacists out there and the efforts of our organizations out there trying to improve our profession, like Pharmacists United for Truth and Transparency, like APCI, who supports independent community pharmacies, like IPC, Independent Pharmacy Cooperative, owned by their members, and so many other organizations that we've worked with. We're happy to have Ural Pharma as our sponsor today. You're going to hear a special message from Ural Pharma's CEO, Stephen Beckman, coming up in our special interview. And then we're going to dive into TWIRx news. We have a shorter TWIRx today. We hope that if you're off, that you're able to spend more time with your family and friends and get ready for a big month. The Pharmacy 50 Awards are coming up on January 16th, 2026. That'll be a Friday on This Week in Pharmacy, as we celebrate the most influential people, the 50 most influential people voted by you, the profession, and giving them recognition for what they do in our profession and making things better. I'm excited to be here. We have a big TWIRx ahead. Let's get started. Welcome to TWIRx. I am ready to get going. We have several news items that I'd like to dive into. We have a lot of pharmacists out there who are worried about their jobs, their careers in 2026 and how that may change. And I think becoming a specialist and becoming someone who can dial into a specific disease state and become maybe a medical science liaison, building your own business, your own side hustle that becomes your own business. We're going to see an expansion of this in pharmacy and pharmacist building businesses, and we love to hear about it. If you have a business that you're working on, if you have something special that you're doing, would you please reach out to me? Send me an email at Urey, EURY, at pharmacypodcast.com. I'd like to feature that. I'd like to talk more about it. Hey, first up on TWIRx news, we have an announcement from Pharmacy Times.
The FDA has approved tradipitant, near-use, Vonda Pharmaceuticals, for the prevention of vomiting induced by motion, marking the first novel pharmacologic treatment for motion sickness in over 40 years. The approval, announced in a news release from Vonda Pharmaceuticals, represents a major advancement in the management of motion sickness. One. Results from 2 pivotal Phase 3 clinical trials and an additional supporting study supported tradipitant's approval. Each of the pivotal trials, Motion Ceros, NCT 04327661, Motion Seraphos, NCT 05903924, was real-world provocation in nature and was conducted on boats. 2 to 5. Motion Ceros. In Motion Ceros, N equals 365, adults with a history of motion sickness were randomized 1:1:1 to receive 180 mg tradipitant, N equals 120, 85 mg tradipitant, N equals 123, or placebo, N equals 122.
Love to hear the expansion of medications and want pharmacists to know about this and motion sickness and nausea. And I'm wondering if this plays into cancer medications and people that are suffering from nausea with their cancer treatment. So we will be keeping our eyes on that. I'd like to bring in a pharmacist who is an expert in cancer care. If you are in specialty pharmacy and you work with cancer patients, please reach out to me. We would like to do a special series in our first quarter of 2026 on cancer treatment, the advances of cancer treatment, and dig in and talk about what's missed, what's not being seen, especially ancillary things to make our patients more comfortable, and like to dig deeper into cancer treatment for children as well. Hey, next up on news, we have this coming from Drug Topics. The title is Pharmacists Can Use Social Media for Professional Educational Advancements. And this is a great article. This is a follow-up to a 3-part interview series with Dr. Jennifer Flynn and her experience in studying social media, the impact on the public. I see a rise in pharmacists showing up on TikTok, showing up on Instagram, on Facebook, and they are combating misinformation. I love this when I see this. Pharmacists out there like Shane Jereminski, who does an amazing job at using social media to educate not only the provider to provider, the business to business of pharmacy, but also he debunks different things that he's tagged from the public. And that interaction through social media is so important. And there's a quote in the article. It says, if you're going to use aka social media, in a professional area, you want to make sure that not only are you using professional judgment, but you are using evidence-based guidelines. Jennifer Flynn, Vice President of Healthcare Risk Management at the Healthcare Provider Services Organization, the HPSO, and Manager of Healthcare Risk Management at Aon, told Drug Topics, you're being careful with your tone that you're using and the words that you're using to get your point across. There is a rise in influence coming from social media from our pharmacists. And I like what she said about tone. As angry as we might be, as frustrated as we are as healthcare professionals, technicians, myself, people that are in public relations, content development, if you're on social media and the public is engaging you, if the public is reaching out to you, you always have to take the highest of roads in order to preserve the validity and the accuracy of what you're saying, and understanding that the public may view this as something political. They might accuse you of being paid off by pharma. Any of the numerous of things that come to you, you have to rise above and trust in yourself, trust in the information that you're talking about. This is a great article out of Drug Topics, just came out this week in pharmacy. Take a look at it and reach out to us. If you are building a social media account, if you are building something that you want to get more information out on, especially if it's for pharmacist to pharmacist education, or pharmacist to nurse, or pharmacist to physician, we'd like to also help you get that information out to the public. Our podcasts will also be metamorphosizing, where we can do things that are directed at the public. There's so much bad information out there, and we feel that with a network of over 30 pharmacist podcasters and people in pharmacy that have great information. We think that we can be part of the new information sources in the new year, 2026 and beyond. Also want to move ahead in news and share some news from the Signal Akron out of Ohio. And the title is A Local Pharmacy Supporting Reproductive Health in Ohio. That's the PPRX, and it's titled PPRX, A Local Pharmacy Supporting Reproductive Health in Ohio. It goes down through how Planned Parenthood of Greater Ohio, first brick and mortar pharmacy, the PPRX, opened its doors, and it was created for support of long-term sustainability of local reproductive health care and is filling shifting needs in the community as pharmacies all over the place are closing. We know that throughout the nation, and there's not access to enough reproductive health and guidance and the personalization of that guidance. Take a look at this article. I'll have this in the show notes. But I do want to make a point because I brought this article up on purpose, and that is that there is an organization out there that we've started to work with at the Pharmacy Podcast Network in support of expanding healthcare, expanding services, reproductive services to the public through pharmacists. And there are something like 34, 36, 38 states that pharmacists can prescribe birth control and manage birth control. I want you to take a look at getprismrx.com. Once again, that's getprismrx.com. This is an integrated electronic health record specifically built for community pharmacists, and it streamlines every step that you can think of, expanding clinical services, protecting your license, helping you to grow your business away from the insurance world, from the PBM world. I want you to take a look at this system. Once again, go to getprismrx.com. You could begin this in the new year. You'll be able to get this up and running in the month of January. Reach out to the team at getprismrx.com and read through the real-time decision support that they have through the system, the security that's built into it, the team-based approach to the system where you're able to correspond with physicians and other experts to drill down into the health of people, the health of our nation in the reproductive side. Although that's not the only treatment, that's not the only systems that they're going to be concentrating on. This will be expanding. But consider this. This is new revenues, new patients. There's better solutions out there. It also has integration with certain pharmacy management systems and can be done so eloquently and easily. Take a look once again, getprism.com. That's getprismrx. I'm sorry, I always forget that. Getprismrx.com. Take a look. Very impressed with that system. All right, I want to talk before we get into our first interview. I want to talk about our network and our dedication to you, people listening right now in pharmacy. We've had a wonderful, wonderful 2025 in the expansion of content for you. I want to give a shout out to Cardinal Health. Cardinal Health has been an amazing supporter of the Pharmacy Podcast Network for years. They have a brand new podcast that just came out that I want you to take a listen to about leveraging local partnerships to expand your pharmacy business and the keys to that, led by Jason Kaluri. He's an amazing content builder for Cardinal Health. He's led the Counter Talk podcast for years. And we're so excited to have Cardinal Health as part of our network and how they support pharmacists, pharmacy, and independent community pharmacy. Shout out to Daniel Plummer. If you haven't listened to Maternal RX and how Dr. Daniel Plummer digs down into pregnancy-specific during pregnancy, and post, and how the latest episode Daniel will sit down with Dr. Taden Vartarian, a pharmacist and medical lead with deep expertise in autoimmune disease, and how her experiences and overview of diabetes types and maternal risk considerations and screening strategies. This is important to understand, and how diabetes types get explained through pregnancy and how it can change. What a resource. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Daniel Plummer for being an amazing podcaster. Also, we had a wonderful review of the TWIRx playbook last week on This Week in Pharmacy. This was brought to us by MatchRx. Thank you so much to the MatchRx team for helping us go through something pretty complicated. Didn't really understand what TWIRx was all about. Thought it was just our president adding some naming conventions to new policies and new things that are coming out. And sometimes I get tired of the smoke screens, and I didn't know what it was. But thank you so much to MatchRx for demystifying the TWIRx system, and how our pharmacist and lawyer interview special guest, Dr. Dae Lee, went through that. He's with Buchanan Ingersoll. A bunch of great information on last week's TWIRx about that. Don't miss out on that. Understand what TWIRx is all about. We also ended up with the NCPA third part of the convention. A lot of great interviews in there, and things for you to think about in 2026, and being able to expand your business, your cash-based businesses, and working with organizations like Real Value RX, who is helping pharmacists to become more profitable in their businesses and their independent community pharmacies. A shout out to Ural Pharma, who is our sponsor for today's TWIRx, and you'll be hearing from their CEO soon. And then also Nimble RX with their advancements in the point of sale and how to expand that, how to make more money through their systems, making things easy for your patients to engage with you and pay their prescriptions and other services through your pharmacy and pharmacists services. And also I want to give a shout out to APCI for their support in PBM reform. We've had several episodes out. If you want to understand where we are in the nation right now in PBM reform and how important it is for you to understand that, please take a listen to the Pharmacist Fight Back episode that we recorded live from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much to APCI for your support. Shout out to Greg Reibold. He's our host right now for the PBM Reform podcast. And he interviewed on December 15th, U.S. Congressman Jake Auchincloss, in an update of where we are at the federal level with PBM reform. Important for you, if you are in pharmacy, if you are a pharmacist, if you're a hospital pharmacist or a specialty pharmacist, and you don't think this affects you, it does. It affects all of us, and it affects you. Please understand where we are with PBM reform and how you might be able to get involved and help out, and how important that is. I am such a big advocate for pharmacists being aggressive. And if you want your message out, and you can bring that message to the Pharmacy Podcast Network. We reach over 80,000 listeners per month. That puts us in the top 1% of every podcast in the world, which we're excited. And that's because of you. That's because of pharmacists. That's because of our passionate profession that is pumping out amazing amounts of content, good content backed by evidence-based studies, backed by white paper studies and information that we're resourcing for our listeners. And we want to expand to our consumer. If you have something that you do and you're passionate about, and you're dialing into some disease state management or some business or some digital therapeutic or solution, please reach out to us. We want to hear about it. We want to spread the news through This Week in Pharmacy. Every Friday we do This Week in Pharmacy, and I'm very proud of how well this publication has grown, and excited where we're going for 2026. And once again, thank you to the listeners for all that you've all of your feedback, everything that you've done in giving us great feedback, subscribing, sharing information. This is how we grow as a profession. There are 146 million people in the United States that listen to podcasts every day. And that's an amazing number when you have 335 million people in your country, citizens in the country, and that 147 million people listening to podcasts. That shows you how podcasting has advanced, how it's growing, and we think that we know that pharmacists' voices are more important than ever. Hey, I want to break on into our interview. This is a special opportunity for us to learn more about Ural Pharma and sharing messaging from Steve Beckman. Hey, welcome back to This Week in Pharmacy. I have somebody here in the studio. Don't get to have you in the studio enough, Stephen Beckman, but introduce yourself to the TWIRx listeners.
Well, welcome everybody. My name is Steve Beckman. I'm the CEO of Ural Pharma, and I also live not too far from Todd, so I should be able to get to the studio more often, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, we thank you for joining us on This Week in Pharmacy and talking about This Week in Pharmacy. It's the first show of the new year, and we want to hear about what's happening, where Ural Pharma is going to show up in conferences upcoming for 2026.
Well, as a conference program for 2026, we go to a group of different shows. We spend a lot of time at some of our trade shows. We're doing some government shows for the first time as well. But the most important shows that we go to are the four shows that we'll be going to this year that support pharmacy. So it wouldn't be surprising when you hear these acronyms, but we'll be going to NACDS, NCPA, ASHP, and APHA. Mm-hmm. And if I remember all those and get all the acronyms right every year, that's a good start for me. So we've made a very strong commitment to pharmacy by going. I think there's more meetings out there, but these are probably the four that if you're going to really support pharmacy and want to get engaged, these are the ones you have to be at. So we are increasing our presence in some of these. We're going from, we started this, 3 years ago when we launched the company with doing a simple 10 by 10 or just going and interacting. But now in some of these meetings, we're actually going to have a 20 by 20 booth. We're going to be able to highlight not only the products that we have been promoting for the last couple of years, but we'll have the opportunity in 26 to start promoting some of the products that are coming down our pipeline. And we're continuing to do some things differently. We're looking at new wrinkles to our business, opportunity to do certain level of work in private label, continue to expand our portfolio. One of the things that we're looking very aggressively at is not just a single ANDA or AG, but also now looking at products that are truly 505(b)(2) products to put ourselves in a position as we continue to grow our infrastructure and our commercialization ability to really handle any one of those products, as long as it fits into our concept of finding, not a huge portfolio, but the right portfolio of products that really can make a difference throughout the value chain. So we're very excited about all these messages that we have. We're going to be presenting some different ways in which our products can be acquired. So I think there's going to be a lot to talk about in terms of us sharing some of our plans with pharmacy, but most importantly, and really is where I should have started, Todd, is that we're coming to these meetings so we want to listen. We talk a lot as the pharmaceutical industry, but we need to continue to listen more. We've had some really great success in creating value down to the patient level because we've taken the time over the last couple of years to really listen to pharmacy. And we believe pharmacy channel is so critical in so many ways. And we have to find a way to ensure that we support them from the product portfolio side of things. But equally, we have to continue to understand the dynamic in which they're operating. And that could be independent pharmacy, specialty pharmacy, even the national chains, as we know, Rite Aid. in this calendar year has ceased to operate. So there's a lot of changes, and these changes are not because a lot of good things are happening. Is that a lot of challenges are helping to make these pharmacies successful. And at the end of the day, they are critical to patient outcomes. So we can diagnose all we want. We can try to treat patients and go to the physician. But if we ultimately are not delivering drug through pharmacy to the patient in the right way, in a consistent way, and they can get their product when they need it, they can afford to get all those things that we play have to happen. So we can't lose sight of that. Otherwise, our system, which has its challenges, is going to get worse, not better. And Ural really wants to do their part as an organization beyond the selling of our products to do our part to make it better. And it starts with us listening and interacting with the pharmacies at those key meetings this year in this coming year in 26.
Yeah. So I think that what we always strive to do on TWIRx is bring novel, new updates and news. And news that I'm excited for you to share with the listeners is the telehealth aspect of how Ural is now positioning itself to engage patients through telehealth and through telepharmacy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, our new tagline for the company has evolved is we've been always doing it, but we finally realized we should just say it. We've been doing it, but to say it. So doing things differently has become the tagline for Ural Pharma. And so we've tried to kind of look outside of ourselves and look back in, and not only at Ural, but how the industry is working, how the generic industry is working. And we're going to try some different things to be complementary and supportive. And one of those things is to be creating a platform by which, patients that need to have a different platform is to use telehealth and online pharmacy to provide a cash price offering for our products, which is something we haven't seen any other generic company do in terms of offering a cash price for our particular products, which would be our pain patches. So who knows? We want an A for effort, and we want an A for outcome, and that's what we're hoping. So A for effort to try to do things differently. And continue and being a part of PPN and all that you're doing in the pharmacy channel will help create that awareness, and it will fit in hopefully in the right way. And if it doesn't, then we say, okay, what did we learn from it? And then we move on to the next thing. But our goal will be to continuously try, not just to do it to be different, but to do it to make it right. And that's where we'll eventually go. And when we find one that works, we'll stick with it, just like we do with these podcasts, right? Awesome. But that's what we're going to do.
Well, thank you. So before I let you go, I'm just curious, do you have a 2026 New Year's resolution that you're planning to do?
Personal or professional?
I guess you could share with both.
Well, I think on a professional note, it's really important that we strive to be better tomorrow than we were today. So we are focusing a lot externally, but also internally to make sure that everyone in our organization continues to raise their knowledge capital and fully integrated in our business. So we're doing a lot of things internally to make sure that everyone that's touching the Ural business understands how they can have an influence on touching our downstream customers. So that's one thing we're doing. The other New Year's resolution is never to rest on our laurels. So we're going to be continuing to take this mantra of doing things differently and applying to both everything we do internally and externally. And we hope that will, again, achieve the New Year's resolution of being a better corporate citizen, if you will. A lot of times corporate citizenship is saying about how we need to do things better from the way we were doing because we were doing them wrong.
Right.
I don't think that we have done anything wrong at Ural, so we need to take that concept and not about fixing what's been wrong, but making what's right better. And that's one of the things. And on a personal note, because it kind of ties into business, is that I'm a professional photographer when I don't do this for a living. So my goal is to continue to expand on that creative pathway, because I actually use a lot of photography concepts in my business, or in our business. Something as simple as when you think about composition of photography and try to apply the concept of composition to your business. it gives you the will to look creatively and not just the way you've always done it, but to do it differently. So hopefully I will continue to raise the bar and help be a part of the team that raises the bar at Ural and raises the bar through my creative outlets.
I love it. Your creative outlet is so cool. I love your photography. My favorite photo you've ever taken was when the plane is flying above, right at the right time. You see the exhaust coming out. You see the old-fashioned car, and you see the model all in place. I have no idea how you captured such a thing with so much speed that was there. But quickly, describe that to the listeners. That was so cool.
Well, like most things in life, sometimes I say it's better to be lucky than good. But I think luck comes because you're prepared and you are good. So we were very fortunate to have a wonderful friend who owns the plane and the car. A little bit jealous about that, by the way. But he's a former military pilot, and just doing a little bit of homework, right? So understanding which way the sun was setting, shooting at the right time of day, positioning the the car in the right way, having the opportunity to have the plane do 2 or 3 passes, and ultimately. To your point, it was pretty spectacular to catch a shot where you see a plane flying about 40 feet above the ground over a antique car and model, and have the sunburst of the sunset coming behind with the right hues and colors of the day. Really made a spectacular kind of one of a kind picture, and because of it, we were very lucky. I was very humbled and fortunate that it got selected to be on the cover of a airplane magazine, as well as a magazine that supports pinup, which was the pinup model in front of the car. So I would just tell you that part of any New Year's resolution, I think for me or anybody else, is be inspired to do something that will make you better. And I think a big part of our lives, to any extent, I don't care what you do in life. Find something that unleashes a little bit of artistic creativity in yourself, because when you find that, it's amazing how that can permeate all aspects of your life a little bit. As I said, I've used a lot of my photography concepts and to looking at the business or communicating a business, because photography is just the art of light, so it's a different form of communication, a different form of art, but that's what we do every day, is communicate. And sometimes it's pretty cool when you can communicate without actually speaking, and that's something that art does.
I love it. I love it. Well, we appreciate your time on TWIRx. We also appreciate you sponsoring today's episode. We have more TWIRx to come. Do not change your dial. I guess there aren't dials on podcasts, but we'll be back with more TWIRx.
As frontline healthcare providers, pharmacists like you understand the importance of personalized care, especially in acute pain management. Ural Pharma is dedicated to providing high-quality, generic products tailored to meet your patient's needs. The company aims to serve a diverse range of patient populations, including athletes recovering from intense training, weekend warriors managing minor injuries, and those seeking a practical and mess-free option for acute pain management. Keep Ural in your toolbox of pain management options and join the ranks of pharmacists leading the way in personalized care. To learn more about Ural Pharma and its products, including full prescribing information, boxed warnings, and important safety information, visit uralpharma.com. That's YARAL pharma.com, and connect with them on LinkedIn.
Wow, I just want to say how thankful I am for organizations who sincerely get involved in supporting the growth of our publications, of the voice of pharmacists getting out to our politicians, to voices of pharmacists who are leading in pediatric care, and so on and so on and so on. This is your podcast platform. If you have a podcast, if you have a mission, and you want to connect with us, we want to work with you in 2026. And we want to boost what you're doing. And we want to bring more attention to what you're doing. And we want you to tie together with other people in our profession and outside of our profession and outside of healthcare even, for the purposes of growing your businesses and growing influence to aspects of pharmacy care. Think about it. Think about what your specialty is. What was my specialty? I understood technology, I understood pharmacy workflow, turned that into a blog, turned that into a podcast, turned that into a network, turned that into the largest podcast focused on our pharmacist in the world, bringing that many listeners month after month. This is the expansion of us as a unified profession. You know, the AMA doesn't have the financial struggles and the political influence that they have in creating policy and passing laws and keeping people in and or out of power when it comes to healthcare. But this is an opportunity for our listeners and our sponsors and our organizations who are out there, the National Association of Specialty Pharmacy, who has been an amazing supporter of our publications and our intertwining their voice with specialty pharmacy issues, specialty pharmacy limit distribution medications, and gene and cell therapy. And I could go on, but I'm so proud and so thankful for you as our listener listening today. It's a Friday, which is a strange Friday because some of us have been off, like myself, since Christmas Eve, and I don't know if it's up, I don't know if it's down. I'm off schedule. I don't feel myself, although it's great to relax. I think of what's happening and where you guys are going, where you people are taking us, you pharmacists and you pharmacy business people and the passionate people like MatchRx and the technology platforms and PrimeRx and Framework LTC and that SoftWriters team. And I want to say thank you. I really do. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being a listener, for sharing these podcasts, for helping us grow. But 2026 needs to be a prosperous year for our profession and prosperous for you as the listener. And you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, I want a side hustle gathering, and we need to think about what our pharmacists doing to create centers of excellence and understanding and technology and platform creation, like the Nested Knowledge team who supports our pharmacy systems through AI advancement, and how we're going to continue to use AI in the fundamentals of our information gathering, and then inspecting those sources to make sure that our content stays as pure to the profession and as pure to the science and as pure to the advancement of pharmacists and pharmacy owners and control of the way things need to work in communities from a healthcare perspective where pharmacists know best, and for them to be part of emergency management and disaster relief and politics. And there's so much work to do. I want you to go into this weekend believing in your profession and coming back on the 5th, which is my first real day back on Monday. And let's get to work. Together RX. Hashtag together with the R and the X at the end of together. That's been a hashtag I've used now, and I made that up, 4 or 5 years ago, and Together RX is the whole profession advancing and where we need to advance. And it's not all kumbaya, because we are going to disagree, but we can still move our profession forward. I disagree with so many people inside my own network from some of their viewpoints, some of their political stances. But guess what? I will never, ever stand in their way or not give them my platform to boost their knowledge when it comes to the science and when it comes to the pharmacological advancement and the understanding of the disease state and Medicaid, because I see what's happening. I see the growth of pharmacists throughout our entire profession, and their growth in medical science liaisons has been so exciting to watch. We're going to be doing more content for our MSLs, and we want to hear of those conversations. If you have an idea, even if you don't have a podcast, but you've thought about podcasting, you can start with us. We will help you. We will position you. And there's probably a show or a theme out there that we may already have covered that you can become an amplifier. And that's how we've grown. That's how we grew our PGX division. The pharmacogenomics division was not being talked about. It was here at the Pharmacy Podcast Network. That was the first podcast that was based on pharmacists and pharmacogenomics and the advancement of the science. And that subject is growing. And if that's a subject that you like and you're interested in, or better yet, you work in, and you want to get involved in conversations in those subjects, there you go. That's how we're going to tie you into our growing political network and having access to Congress people, senators, having access to the more leaders at the State Pharmacy Association and the Florida Pharmacists Association, how they have been so instrumental in using their storytelling and the podcasting that's going to come out of that state alone. A shout out to Dr. Melissa Smith, who is leading PGX right now for us out of Florida. You have to understand, you use Facebook the right way. You do it in the best interest of the public health because you wear the white coat, and when you step out in your, even in your personal stuff, sometimes you just have to watch. But if you want to make it personal, divide those social media platforms. I do that all the time. My Facebook is much more close circle from a personal perspective where I can just be me and I can talk about things that I want to talk about. And I don't have to think how politics are going to be used or used against me personally or my network or my people, because I get to just say what I want to say because everybody should have that right to say. But when it's the Pharmacy Podcast, just like when you don the white coat, we owe it to each other, and you owe it to the public, that when you're saying things and when you're taking stances and when you're supporting other healthcare providers, or even if you disagree with another healthcare provider, if you disagree with another provider, you should be able to come together and talk about that. We'd love to have more conversations about maybe people that disagree on certain issues. And if you have ideas, if you have a desire to do some kind of content development, especially podcasting, obviously, reach out to us. And also your voice and your influence in the political sciences, but also in public relations, because this network is starting to tie into a lot of public relation organizations. And the partnerships that we're building get your voices tied in with businesses who are focused on very specific issues, treatment statuses, clinical trials, technology advancements. Use your imagination and call me. Call me. I want to see you succeed in 2026. I know I'm going to, because of you, because of our listeners, because of our supporters, because of the networking that we're doing and the conferences that we're going to. Let's do stuff this year. It's been so much fun. This will be our 17th year coming into 2026, serving our profession through podcasting and doing what I can do to support you. This is your network. And I say from the bottom of my heart, Happy New Year. And to a prosperous, that's my key word this year, is being prosperous and being profitable and being guiding and leading. And I want to lead our podcasting connections, and I want to do more in podcasting for you and through you, because there's much to be done, and I want it coming from good sources. Pharmacist, my favorite provider. Happy New Year.